I want to turn to the new classified documents that the FBI found at the president's house in Delaware. It was a 13-hour search that happened on Friday. It's just the latest revelation of the president having classified items that he shouldn't have. You've been in Congress for 40 years. You've handled classified material for a lot of those years, probably most of them. How concerned are you about this?
Well, I'm concerned. There's a standard that we follow when it comes to members of Congress and classified information. The door to my office is closed. The person who presents the document to me takes it out of a locked briefcase, hands it to me, and watches as I read it. When I finish reading it, he takes it back, puts it in the briefcase, and leaves the scene. I mean, that's how carefully we review these documents. To think that any of them ended up in boxes in storage one place or the other is just unacceptable. But having said that, let me make this point clear. Joe Biden has said from the start, we are going to be totally transparent about this. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to open my home voluntarily to a search, not the first search, I'm sure, of his offices and home. He has shown total cooperation in this effort. That is a sharp contrast to President Trump.
Well, speaking of former President Trump, I want to play something that you said last year about the classified documents found at his Mar-a-Lago resort.
It's an outrage. It is a literal outrage for the president to take this important information down to his home in Florida and then store it in a closet with traffic, people back and forth in his resort and golf course is an outrage.
Is it also an outrage for the current president to have what appears to be multiple classified documents in multiple locations?
At its heart, the issue is the same. Those documents should not have been in the personal possession of either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. But what happened and followed from it is significantly different. Donald Trump defied those who knew the documents were in place and ultimately led to involuntarily a court order and a search of his Mar-a-Lago hotel resort to find out how many documents were there. Contrast that with Joe Biden, embarrassed by the situation as he should have been. He invited the government agencies in to carefully look through all the boxes he had accumulated. It's a much different approach. It is outrageous that either occurred, but the reaction by the former president and the current president could not be in sharper contrast.
They are very different, no question about that. Having said that, you are a politician. You've been around for a while and you understand how these things play out. Do you fear that because of that, the current president has kind of lost the high ground on this notion of classified information being where it shouldn't be?
Well, of course. Let's be honest about it. When that information is found, it diminishes the stature of any person who is in possession of it, because it's not supposed to happen. Whether it was the fault of a staffer or an attorney, it makes no difference. The elected official bears ultimate responsibility. And we have to worry, since this new group that has taken over control of the House of Representatives has promised us endless investigations, confrontations, impeachments, and chaos, what's going to happen. I only have one word for those who are dubious as to whether that will happen, and the word is Benghazi. How long did we spend going through Benghazi hearings in the Republican-controlled House of the past? Now imagine the MAGA Republicans and what they're setting out to do. I'm sure that they're going to have investigations to our heart's delight.
I want to turn to the debt ceiling, sir. The White House insists they are not going to negotiate with Republicans who are demanding spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt limit so America doesn't default on its debt. Do you think the president should negotiate?
No, absolutely not. Let's get to the bottom line here. Those who are posing for holy pictures as budget balancers, the MAGA Republicans, should note one important fact. Almost 25% of all of the national debt accumulated over the history of the United States, 230 years, was accumulated during the 4 years of Donald Trump. So the notion that there is some partisan holy position that they're taking and that they're going to fight this battle for the matter of principle. When they enacted tax cuts for the wealthiest people of America during the Trump administration, they added dramatically to the national debt, which we are now facing. Having done that, they need to face the responsibility of paying for it. That is what the debt limit is about. And if we play games with this, if we delay this, if we have short-term extensions of the national debt, we run the very risk of a recession in this economy. Millions of Americans out of work and interest rates going even higher. Denying people an opportunity to buy a home or a car in this economy will be stalled. We shouldn't play games with the national debt.
When Joe Biden was vice president, I'm sure you remember, back in 2011, he was the lead negotiator on negotiations for spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling. But you're saying you think it's different because of what happened during the Trump years?
I think it's different not just because of the Trump years being the origin of much of this debt, but by the new House of Representatives. 15 ballots, Dana, you were there, you saw it, or at least witnessed it on television. 15 ballots to choose the speaker, and he gave the authority to each member of the House to initiate a vote of no confidence on a daily basis. I mean, this is a House of Representatives which is under control of the MAGA Republicans at this point, and I'm fearful that very few constructive things will emerge.
Before I let you go, I have to ask about the Supreme Court. You are, of course, Senate Judiciary Chairman. You saw what happened at the court. They announced this week that they were unable to determine who leaked the draft decision overturning Roe versus Wade last year. Clerks and employees had to sign sworn affidavits saying that they didn't leak the draft opinion. Neither the justices nor their spouses actually had to sign affidavits. So do you believe that that was a mistake? Should they have to do so to figure out where the leak came from?
Listen, the universe of people who are suspects in this leak of an opinion of the Supreme Court is really a small universe. It includes the justices and their families if they had access to this opinion, which I assume some of them did. They should have gone into at least the position of assertions by each one of the justices as to what they did or did not do when it came to these opinions. But I find it hard to imagine with the small group of people who had access to this opinion, they couldn't come up with more information.
Are you going to try in your capacity as Judiciary Chair?
No, I don't think this is an area where we can go in and with any kind of force make for a changed result at this point.
Okay. Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin, thank you so much. And I should say, the Senate Whip, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Appreciate it.